Hundreds of my other students began learning the violin on their own, and each time I saw the same difficulties and issues arise. After researching more than 800 books on how the best violinists worldwide learn the violin, I found what I think is the best way to start learning the violin from scratch as an adult beginner. And in this video I will show you exactly what you really need to start, but more importantly, what you should practice and which mistakes to avoid. And by the way, I know that a lot of adults are unsure about how well they could learn the violin, but most of our students are in their 50s, with even a lot of them above 70. And I never saw someone who couldn't learn to play the violin beautifully. So I'm sure you will. And the first thing I will recommend is to rent a good violin instead of buying a cheap one. Don't get me wrong, you can learn to play the violin beautifully on a $100 violin. And a more expensive violin would sound a little bit better, but what makes mostly that a violin sounds great is how you play it, not how expensive it is. The issue with cheap violins is that very often the string breaks or something with the bow break, and then you lose a lot of time trying to get it repaired. Instead, when you rent a good violin by a local violin maker, it can really help you set it up and make sure that everything works, and you can really focus on practicing instead of wasting time fixing the violin. Now, to start learning the violin, there is only a few things you really need. The first one is the violin, of course, and the bow, and then the next one will be the rosin. The rosin is what you put on the bow so that a sound comes. That's an issue I see a lot of students have, but they didn't know that. For the bow, a new bow to produce a sound, you need first to put rosin on the bow by doing like that very slowly until it becomes a little bit white. And then something very important I recommend every beginner to have is a shoulder rest. So this is a shoulder rest, and what it does is that it helps stabilize the violin and it makes learning the violin way easier and more fun. So this one is a very expensive shoulder rest, but you can find shoulder rests for $30 or less, and they are good enough to start. And to put the shoulder rest in place, it's very easy. You will just put it at the top here, close to the chin rest. You start with one side and then the other side, and then you slide it like that a little bit. So in the end, it will look like that. So now let us see what you should learn first, why you should learn it, and how to learn it. Basically, there is only 4 things you really need to start playing the violin beautifully. And the first thing you should learn is just how to hold the violin. For that, just stand straight, then bring the violin in contact to your neck. Then you will turn your head left and rest your chin on the chin rest, so that it looks like that. What you don't want to do is this, because you will get some severe pain here, okay? Instead, keeping the head straight, turning it, and putting the chin on the chin rest. And you should feel that the violin is stable without your hands, but still you want to hold it at the same time here with your left hand. Then the second thing you should learn, super important that a lot of beginners forgot, is how to tune your violin. Even if you have a violin teacher or someone who can help you, you need every time before you play to tune your violin. That's super important. The easiest way to tune your violin as a beginner is to use a tuner. And for that, you can install a free app on your phone. If you don't know how to do that, I have a separate video on my channel where I show exactly how to tune your violin. Now the third thing is the bow. And by the way, if you're an adult beginner and you want to learn to play the violin beautifully, we are organizing a free violin masterclass. You will find the link below this video. So the bow is super important in the violin because that is really what will make that the violin sounds beautifully and that you can bring the violin to sing. You know, when I play something, what makes it sound beautifully, it's really like how I move my bow, my sound, how I build the sound with the bow. And to have a beautiful sound, the first thing and most important thing that most beginners do wrong is a bow posture. So here, how every professional holds the bow. First, you will build a circle with your third finger and your thumb, like that. Making sure that your thumb touch the inside part of the third finger and not the tip of it. Then you will bring your bow and insert this circle here between the leather and the wood part. And then the third finger in front of it. Then you will rest your ring finger directly here on the side, not at the top but on the side. Then you will bring your index finger on the bow, not on the tip, not on the first part of the finger, really here on this middle part. And then you will leave your forefinger on tip of the bow, slightly on the inside part. And like you see, it should be very round like that and very flexible, with the finger slightly apart, but not too much and not too close either. So now the next step is to play the bow. But before we start playing a sound, we need to think to tighten the bow. You will do that by turning this screw clockwise. And the goal is that on the middle, it should be approximately 7 mm between the wood and the hair of the bow. After you are finished, don't forget to unscrew it. Then, very important to have a beautiful sound is leave your bow on the string before you start. Check your posture again that everything is perfect, and then play your first note. Here, the focus will be to have a really relaxed sound. And I know that's not easy at all. That's one of the main difficulties in playing the violin. But really try to relax the bow hand. Use a lot of bow and just try to create a beautiful sound. Focus first really only on your bow posture, on keeping the bow parallel to the bridge. That means like that and not so or so. With the bow approximately in the middle between the fingerboard and the bridge here. So now let us see how to play the left hand. So here the first thing is that you want to keep everything straight, building some sort of V, and put it under the neck of the violin. And then you want to bring all your finger on the D string like me. It should look like that. Okay? Most important point is that everything should be relaxed, very, very relaxed. And first, I will really advise to start with only the D string, not the other string. So the D string is the second one, and you have the G string, D string, A string, and E string. You will start on the D string, here. And then starting there only with very simple two-finger exercises. Here are a few examples I wrote for our students in the Violinacademy. So you could start just with open string first finger, that will be D, E. Playing very slowly, just trying to play the right note by listening at recordings. You will find on internet, on other video I did, a lot of recording of different exercises. Then you could do the same with every finger, 1 to 2, E to F sharp. And other combination like 2 to 3, F sharp to G, or 3 to 4, G to A. Most important thing is to really focus on only the D string first and understanding how intonation works. One of the most important concepts is the finger pattern. When you will play on the D string at the beginning, you will learn the second finger pattern. That means that your second and third finger will be close to each other. And in opposite, between the first and the second finger, you will have one empty space, and between the third and the fourth, one other empty space. And then for your first piece, something very great that's easy to play too, and that's only on the D string with the second finger pattern, is Ode to Joy. So you will find other videos from me where I teach how to play it, and that's what we give all our students at the end of level 1, but here a few tips. And my first tip is that you should learn it first very slowly. That means like that. And you could learn it really in a few steps. one very simple step that will be to play it first in pizzicato. That's mean by putting your thumb here in the corner, and then by plucking the string with your index finger, with the mid really, not the nails, but really the flesh part of your finger. And playing every note very slowly. And then playing only the bow on open string to learn the rhythm. But now let's see the most common problem I see by new students that started alone to learn the violin. And the most common one, the biggest complaint I hear all the time, is that it sounds bad. People are not happy with how the bow sounds, or that the intonation is not good. So there are a lot of reasons for that, but two of the first things you should check is your posture, especially for the bow. Having a perfect posture play a huge role for having a beautiful sound. And for the left hand, mostly it's a question of playing two difficult things. That's why you have to start only on one string with only one finger pattern, play your pieces on one string only, start with very simple things, and when you can play them so that they sound beautifully, first move to the next step. And that's why if you really want to learn to play the violin beautifully, I would really advise taking a dedicated teacher. And that's the main reason why our students in the Violinacademy learn to play the violin beautifully, because they learn with some of the best violin teachers in the US. And now an important question everyone has is, how much should I practice? Probably not as much as you think. The truth is that most of our students practice between 15 and 30 minutes a day. The most important point is consistency. If you can practice at least 5 days a week, 15 minutes a day, you will see that you will be able to really come forward. If you practice instead only 1 or 2 times a week, even if it's for 1 or 2 hours at once, you will see that it's way more difficult. And then the main driver of progress is not how long students practice, but really what they practice and how they practice. So I wish you a lot of fun with your violin.